I was telling some of you, I went to a funeral the other day, and Brother Charles Williams, who preaches for the New Union Church of Christ in Manchester, was there, and we have shared some teaching together, or teaching separately in a program over in McMinnville. And he was asking me if I was doing anything this summer, and I told him I was here, and I told him that I was teaching homiletics, and I told him, I said, I've been doing this now for 30-something years, and I know in my mind what I've got to do to get a lesson prepared, how to prepare for it, how to study. I was telling Roger, an outline is easy for me now if I've put the study in. If I've thought through it, I've been studying it, and have been reading. I can put a sermon outline together, at least a good rough draft, real quick. But how to convey what I do, what I have come to do, this is perhaps the most difficult thing that I've ever had to do. This may be the most challenging class that I have ever had to prepare for, and I've had about a year to prepare for it because I was going to teach this last summer. And it's challenging. Again, I look at my outline, and from the standpoint of what I'm talking about from my outline, I'm looking at my class schedule. That's sort of the outline that I wanted to follow. And so I look at the outline, and it's a really good outline. It's a really good class schedule. But I'm not too sure about the content that I've been able to give to you. I'm not too sure that I've been able to communicate to you as effectively as I wanted to be able to do. Is this simply because I want to read something that Brother Holland in this book, in the last chapter, which is a thought-provoking chapter. The chapter is entitled, Earning the Right to Preach. Earning the right to preach. And he makes a most... the first sentence is, in and of itself, is thought-provoking. Powerful preachers aren't born. They are made. Effective sermons don't just happen. They are the product of thorough preparation. Spiritual food does not come in pre-cooked cans of sermon outline books. It takes time to prepare and serve spiritual food. That's the first paragraph. Here's my thought on preaching. There's not a science to it. There's not a science to it, and it is not an art form. You sort of have to be, I guess, what they would say in the and I don't hope I don't upset anybody, but in the union concept of those who have been doing something for many, many years. What do they call them? Do you know what the expression is? They're a journeyman, right? Isn't that the expression, a journeyman? And so what I'm trying to say is that a preacher and preaching is a working man's vocation. Yes, there are people who are eloquent, who they sound, there's, words just come out of their mouth and it's just perfectly worded. They are artists with their speech. People who are like that. But you know what? The gospel preachers that have made the most impact on my life, the teachers that who have influenced me, I wouldn't say that they are the greatest public speakers. But I would say two things about them. There's no doubt when you hear them that they believe what they're preaching. They believe what they're teaching. And as I got to know them, they live what they preach. They live what they preach and teach. Those are the people who have influenced my life the most. And I don't believe that you have to have degrees and you don't have to have you don't have to have anything but a mind that searches the Scriptures and a heart to convey it truthfully. And if you do that in your preaching and in your teaching, ladies and men, in your encouragement, in your personal conversations with people, in your public teaching and in your private teaching, and men, when you stand to preach the gospel before a congregation, when you do it like that, it's going to be pleasing to God. And it will be uplifting to the hearers. I've heard the men speak twice now, and you all have the capability. You all have a way in which you can connect with the people. You connect with me. I'm sitting there, and I'm immediately drawn by the way that you present your material. You have that ability to make a connection. And so don't ever take that for granted. But make the connection be one where God is glorified in the message. And if you go over a little bit, it don't matter. Somebody told me one time, said, if you go over the allotted time and you said something worth being said, it's worth it. But if you go over the allotted time and it wasn't worth hearing, you should have sat down in the first place. So I guess that's the way But I also used to have a guy that would tell me, a sermon don't have to be eternal to be good. So you can get it both ways. I heard one time, and I know that Brother Guyan Woods was he was a stickler with time in his sermon. But do you know why he did that? Because he always did a question and answer thing at the end. And boy, that's where he would just go on and on and on and on and on in his answers, you know. But anyway, I thank you for your kindness. I hope that I've given you a little bit. I don't believe that I've been able to add anything to what you are already capable of doing, but I do appreciate your tolerance. And God bless you all as you continue to study and as you continue to grow and as you continue to share what you learn with others. And I'm going to quit now. And if you have any material that you need to give me, I need it right away.